blank sheet inspires me no more. The blank sheet inspires me no more. The lines, the grains, and the whiteness and all only infect my empty brain the more. No thoughts flow, the ink dries up, no mistakes to be corrected no more. Left to right, top to bottom, letters, words, no phrases, find place no more. Expression becomes shaded, overshadowed, and now obvious no more. Expression becomes shaded, overshadowed, and now obvious no more. Black nor blue, over white in contrast, blank uniformity remains. Blank uniformity remains, play of colors no more. Sheer loss of form, of thought, or of output, nothing revealed as seen no more. What to soak and what to absorb, sponge lies in wait, soaked no more. Yet to squeeze out the last drop, effortless and tiring no more. Yet to squeeze out the last drop, effortless and tiring no more. Mind blank, put down the quill, sadly, now trying no more. ये थोड़ा sort of जो writer's block आता है, I think उस period के मतलब तो inspiration ही नहीं आती है.
आपका writer's block पे क्या view है?
मुझे लगता है उसके दो पहलू हैं. एक तरीका है जो लोग टेक्निकली लिखते हैं, जिनको लिखना जरूरी है एज एन आउटपुट व्हिच दे नीड टू गिव इट टू समवन, जो कमर्शियली लिखते हैं. वो एक अलग टाइप का राइटर्स ब्लॉक हो सकता है कि वो जिस चीज़ को सोच रहे हैं वो अपनी मनोदशा की वजह से शायद वो उसको चैनलाइज नहीं कर पा रहे. बट जो अपने लिए इंसान लिखता है उसका राइटर्स ब्लॉक डिफरेंट होता है. वो मुझे पर्सनली ऐसा लगता है कि मैं लिखना कुछ चाहता हूँ और मैं कोशिश कुछ और कर रहा हूँ, तो वहाँ पे ना एक वो विरोधाभास सा हो जाता है, इसलिए मैं अटक जाता हूँ. आई एम नॉट एबल टू स्पीक, क्योंकि मैं कहना तो कुछ और चाहता हूँ और शब्द में जो लिख रहा हूँ वो या जो बोल रहा हूँ वो सेम कहीं मैच नहीं हो रहे. मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
इसके बारे में मेरा थॉट है वो on a lighter side.
हाँ.
Which is like this.
आप यहाँ आ जाओ ना.
Writer's block is something which I'm not a writer. I just try to write or make sense out of life that I feel. But I can say two things. One thing about writer's block is कभी कभार कुछ कहने को जी चाहता है, कभी कभार कुछ कहने को जी चाहता है और साला को आइडिया ही नहीं आता. So I try to write. I'm not a poet. I'm groping for words. I'm groping for to express, and I think so. That's what I do. I do sculpture, work with clay. Okay, one of the after COVID times, I wrote something. The fallback of that was that the mask I wore that covered my smile, the blue ones which covered my pain, the white ones made me serene again, the green ones that held on to the nature's dreams. Sometimes masks are stretched, botoxed skins, layered stiff and pale. Life led through deceptions when masks they wore, to turn the tables, the brains, textures and tones. Sometimes they did it to change the lore, on the winding, treacherous paths that bewilder, that challenge me to act and dance, to push and pulls of pressures around the moment its moods being open to chance. From eons, everyone has worn those masks, people young and old, who fought for survival and existential needs, to live on a gay moment, either in or in sorrowful greed. But the ones who dare and don't care will shamelessly abuse and nasty flare. Tired and disillusioned humanity has worn those masks, once meant to conceal their vulnerabilities stark. So long from beyond they have worn those masks, masks and masks, masks and masks. Layers after layers that bewilder in disguise, to hide their ugly intentions deep, for me to hide them when I weep. Masks borne by young ones and old, men and women poor and rich, but those straight, freaky, awkward and bold. When I was alone, scared and myself couldn't hold. Watching them I wore a sheath thin, to reveal my honest feelings deep within, not disguised, not feeling safe, to tell the weight of deep remorse, my journey craggy, rough and hoarse. dark or fair, tough or sweet. More masked that surprise, the mysteries deep, creep. Glimpses I saw of uncertainties beneath, where vulnerabilities and truth prevail. Some wore it for protection from rogues, goons, and the clever, or to cover their soul. The meshed ones with their warp and weft, hanging from ears covering the nose above the chest. You can't see me breathe or grit my teeth, for each day spent in repetitive tasks, washing hands, rinsing, cleaning glass. For the days numbered and complete, those stories half written and ink deplete, I trudged over hills and muddy paths. I toiled and faced life with valor, a decent craft. Now I am burning, kissing the earth. The tombstones chiseled, once names steep and deep. The ashes where once bones lay astray and strewn, to collect for submersion into water's flow. On the deathbed we won't wear those masks that hide my love, lust, shame, or caste. The ashes in the Ganges will flow. Was my life worth its price in dough? Where memories and my ashes will be, to soak into earth or on a rocky sandy beach. And the music that the birds will sing, or the winds that challenged the birds' fluttering wings. Far deep in the horizons their flight got lost, when the eyes opened to another land, near an oasis or brook, where my soul had cruised. They, the strangers whose days are done, all masked in some way within pain or fun. Aren't we all are homeward bound when we died naked with no veil to wear, which we wore them in and out through our lives in the crowd, wearing them to hide or disguise his shame or uncouth deed. Will I rest in peace, withdrawn and still, around the curve and boulder huge, where cascading waters will gush and splash, the time ticking for me, I am sure.
Again, I would like to read this because it is a long poem also, and there are a lot of metaphors happening there, a lot of things because there is a lot of relation to what we have seen or heard during the COVID times.
मुझे 2-3 बार ऐसा लगा कि इंग्लिश में अगर हनुमान चालीसा लिखी जाती तो ऐसे ही लिखी जाती, तो बीच में मुझे फील आया वो
क्योंकि वो चौपाई की तरह चल रहा था.
That's because I think that comes because I read scripture and that I read.
वो आपकी rhythm बन रही है.
There's a rhythm in there. There's a little rhythm there, you're right.
And it's not the first one that you've written, right?
No, not the first.
Not the first.
Not the first.
But so this is a long poem, and again with comparison with certain poems which are more of a thought which has been shared. Choti hoti thoda more focused hoti. This was a more elaborate one, tried to cover a very large topic and situations of people. How did you come about it? What process this?
I think what I process for me is it's the sometimes I've read something. So a few lines from there, they sort of strike a chord with me. For example, I was reading a poem between the morning sun and the evening, something like that. So it can begin from there. Other times I go for a long walk and I see people around and I sort of soak in all the what I see in all its details, and when I try to write, I try to show what I saw, try to show through words what I saw, make it as explicit as possible. And I think somewhere, I believe, I've not got myself tested, but I guess I was ADHD and dyslexic, slightly dyslexic and ADHD. My daughter will say, no, you can't make those presumptions without being tested. But because I used to sit behind, it took me time to grasp what the teacher was saying. They were going too fast, I had to scribble fast in order to gather what they were saying. So within the realities of life that we're living in, sometimes I'm conversing, I find myself lost because things are happening too fast for my pace, and that's where I go into, I'm imagining a lot of previous memories out there, and those memories could be of mountains, of birds, of travels, of mesas, of valleys, and and whispering winds and all those things. Maybe I'm finding solace, or I'm finding my grounding, or my sense of relief in that kind of a extremely chaotic and oppressive environment. I'm finding the release, and I found that when I've worked with children for some time, I don't sit inside a air-conditioned room. When I go to teach, I don't sit in an air-conditioned room. I sit overlooking the garden, and there's a canteen there. So it gives me an ample space to look at the greenery and imagine things, and to see squirrels hopping or birds flying or the tone of the color of the sky. And I start getting that into it. Sipping a cup of tea makes me think, remember a lot of things, because it connects me to my past, it connects me to other people, it connects me to my college days, it connects me to when my friends would tell me that, Ambar, tu chai le ke aa. I was not a tiny guy even then, but they had the, but they knew that this is gentle. Le aayega, to main kar dunga. So I don't know all those things around chai. I think probably the first poem, it began with my friend who introduced me to his poetry, and he explained it to me. That was in the school days. But later on I didn't know, but suddenly one day, I met another friend in college who said that, who was like into poetry. They were getting into trips at that time. Somebody's going to music, somebody's going to dance, choreography, theatre. So he was going into a trip of poetry writing. He used to ask me words, and I used to give him words. So after a long time I said, मैंने word दे दिए, poetry तो सारी इसमें लिख दी, मेरे तो I have got no ownership of it. So I wrote my first poetry at that time, and it was like railway tracks on rocky beds. This is about mountains. I love mountains. Railway tracks on rocky beds, crisscrossing around strange bends, moving through hilly ways so remote and far away, not a soul sad or gay. So that was my first one.
So Ambar, I have known for some time. I've been to his shows, and generally क्या होता है when you look at somebody how he creates his art, even his drawings. So he put up shows of his drawings also along with his ceramic works. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो दिख जाता है वो जो एक expression होता है, especially मिट्टी वाला जो चीज़ है ना, when you work with clay and you sculpt something, your heart will push. You will also not be able to guide it as much as your heart does without your knowledge. तो दिख जाता है उसके अंदर. So and his sketches also, at times they look macabre also at times, but they're quite interesting. बड़े अच्छे से लगते हैं. So thanks so much अंबर, आज आपने भी पढ़ी और वो आपकी पुरानी कविता भी हमको सुनने को मिली. ये भी एक अच्छी बात है. अगेन मुझे नहीं पता इतनी पुरानी आपको याद है कैसे रहती है.